Now, when you're watching a movie on your telephone, you will never in a billion years experience the film. You think you have experienced it, but you'll end up getting cheated. It's such a sadness. You think you can watch a movie on your fucking telephone. Get real.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Took me a moment.
I think I've done this bit before. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But
hey guys, how we doing?
It's all new to me. It's all fresh.
well, for those who don't know, it's the infamous David Lynch telephone speech. So that you can't watch movies on your fucking telephone.
I plan to watch every movie on my telephone from now on. Lockdown has made me resort to different methods.
Dead Evil knows.
Well, you talking about telephones, but he didn't say anything about my Game Boy Advance SP. So
the
Tokusatsu is not a movie.
All right, let's let's actually not get straight to the point. I want to get into movie news, but I'm giving you two options. The blue pill, let us talk about the new Hawkeye trailer, and the red pill, let us talk about the new Matrix trailer.
Choose Matrix trailer. Red pill, red pill. I'm red pill.
Blue pill.
I haven't even heard about the new Hawkeye trailer at all, so let's talk about that one.
Let's just do a rock, paper, scissors match between Taylor and Nicholas. I'd like to see that.
All right,
oh, yeah. Rock comes out frame 0, remember?
Wait, what?
Wait,
no, you can't do that.
I got confused. I didn't know the timing. Okay.
All right.
Rock.
One paper.
What?
There's a Discord delay.
Okay. Okay. So I say rock, paper, scissors, and then I do it on scissors.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah. Rock,
paper,
scissors. Shoot.
No, you can't.
I don't know if this is possible.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm not usually doing it on scissors. Okay.
No, see, this is just
paper, scissors. No, that timing, no, that didn't get.
I guarantee it.
Timing was off.
All right. I have a number. Between my back, guess the number.
Okay, that's a better idea.
And you can either talk about your Matrix or your Hawkeye. So, guess the number.
It's 7.
6. Well, you gotta just do whichever number is closer.
Look, it's the number that chooses Matrix.
So get it right.
The Matrix trailer was pretty good, I thought. Oh my god, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the Matrix trailer was pretty good, I think. I was pretty excited about it. I think Neil Patrick Harris was cool. I liked the use of White Rabbit. I think I haven't actually seen Revolutions, so it'll be interesting going back, seeing Revolutions, and then checking out this trailer again.
This whole trailer reminded me of the Dream video clip mask, which obviously the Matrix took inspiration from. Because obviously pills. You see Neo take normal pills in the trailer.
They're called cringe pills.
so
during
one pinch pill is cringe.
You have the cringe pill and you have the based pill.
That's what the mask is.
I'm really hoping when Keanu Reeves takes a red pill in this movie, he starts talking about immigration and abortion laws.
I gotta stop uploading these damn immigrants to the Matrix.
Turns out Lana... Wait, who's doing this? Lily or Lana Wachowski?
Lana. Yeah.
Lana has actually been conservative this whole time, and she's been like, oh, I've just been waiting for the next Matrix movie to reveal it.
It was the long con the whole time.
Yeah. It wasn't subtext. I really did mean it as conservative.
But yeah, trailer was fucking awesome. What a
I have zero attachment to this franchise. It looked cool.
Wait,
like I don't know any.
I don't watch trailers.
I don't know. I don't know any of the implications of this trailer. I just thought it looked cool.
So for the new listeners to the podcast, real quick, this is Cody. They have been brought on by me. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself real quick, Cody?
Not really, but I will. I watch
that's
movies.
it.
Movies are cool.
Cody generally doesn't watch trailers, which is a policy I should be doing.
If it's
because
something
some
I know
trailers-
I'm gonna watch anyway. If I still need
Yeah.
like sold on if I want to watch it or not, I'll watch a trailer.
Mhm.
But if it's like I'm gonna see The Matrix, then I don't want to watch the trailer because episode 1 ruined that for me
Mhm.
forever.
Yeah, that's fair. The
And it's
fucking
been-
double blame the life.
22 years, and I'm still mad about it. So
All right, so
and
so we
so
can't go into plot specifics.
oh no, it's fine. Yeah, I know.
Alright.
Absolutely, it's fine. It's
So,
Hawkeye.
I just don't want this movie to fall into to fall too much into the Force Awakens type of it's almost the same film.
that's
Yeah,
true. But they
And
have
it's been like such a long time too. So like that seems like that could just happen.
There's this brief shot though that does kind of give me hope, where they, and this isn't something that should give me hope because it's a shot that makes it look like Neo is becoming similar to the Architect in some way. But that's the name of the guy from Rebooted, right?
So
Or
they're-
sorry,
Reloaded.
So they're
Reloaded.
like fat. They're like fat pills then.
But like the he's got like old man white hair and a goatee, I think, in one of them, and it makes me think like, oh, so are they
I
gonna
think-
connect with the other two?
I think like maybe like the people outside of the Matrix are searching for Neo, and the blue pills are like masking his locations of some sorts. That's why he's
That
like
could be
kind of
cool.
looking like an old guy.
The question is,
Yeah.
does this take into consideration the canon MMO that got shut
Matrix
down?
Online.
This is-
dies.
I said this.
no,
I
see,
said this on Twitter.
If they
The Morpheus
take it
dies in the
Morpheus
Matrix
dies,
Online
yeah.
is the new Viggo Mortensen broke his foot kicking the helmet during Two Towers.
Yeah,
Here's the thing,
absolutely.
because Yahya Abdul-Mateen, who's in the new Candyman, is playing the young Morpheus in this.
I like him quite a bit. He's a good actor.
He's a good
I'm
actor.
excited
He's
that
great
he's
in
in this.
Candyman.
And see, they have to use young Morpheus because old Morpheus is dead. Yeah.
Because he died
They
in
have
the
to
Matrix
acknowledge the Matrix
Online.
Online.
We're
Yep.
never gonna play that game. Why is everyone like so keen?
There's also like a
on it?
giant mecha Agent Smith in that game at one point, made of like scrap and stuff. So that could be, that could be cool.
Mr.
Mr. Smith will-
Anderson.
Mr. Smith will absolutely come back in a post-credit scene. I'm calling it now.
Mm.
They're like, oh, Hugo Weaving doesn't have time to film. He has time to film a post-credit
He is
scene.
What is
absolutely-
Hugo Weaving doing?
What's he
these
doing?
days?
Yeah, what's he doing?
Classic hits was Mortal Engines.
Oh,
It's just-
mm,
and that's the only time you'll hear us talk about model engines on this
All right.
podcast.
that's good.
Cut here.
I-
Can we fit in a little bit of Hawkeye? Should we just jump straight into this?
Sure, why not? We can do Hawkeye.
All right.
Yeah, it
looks
looks
good.
great.
Christmas Marvel Cape Kino. Let's fucking go.
I'm all
Christmas?
about it. I'll watch it.
It
Yeah,
literally
Jonah's
Hugo
is
Weaving
going
has
to be
2
the most
movies in
wonderful
post-production
time.
right now and
of the
nothing
year.
after that. That man is doing nothing anyways.
Yeah, he's in the Matrix.
we get in this episode we get mad at Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving schedule.
I wanted to
Yeah,
watch
Christmas
that
Kino is on the way. It looks great. It's exactly what I want. It's adapting one of my favorite comic series of all times. A lot of the scenes in the trailer were like literally ripped directly from the comic, so very excited.
There was one thing that got us excited. There are mentions of Ronan from the stuff between in the time gap with Endgame.
Go.
Yeah.
Can we make a kind of so that actually follow on that would be nice.
Be nice because
Maybe
they're
Endgame
actually
sure
gonna-
didn't.
Maybe
Yeah.
they're finally gonna take use of Ronin instead of Endgame, where it's just like a 3-minute sequence that
Is
doesn't
it
help
for-
the film at all.
And then she
I
just shows up.
honest-
She's like, "You gotta stop." And he's like, "Yeah, all right,
I
you
mean,
got me. I
I-
guess."
All
I'll
right.
quit."
I liked it being thrown in there, and I really liked that scene because there wasn't really time for them to do anything else with it in the movie. So I'm fine with them setting it up there because I thought it was cool, and then coming back to it later on.
Need the
We'll
4
We'll
hours.
make him
out
in
of
5
Endgame.
hours.
Yeah,
we do
I
need the
don't care.
5-hour cut of Endgame. You're right.
Maybe then I'll like
Yeah.
it more.
Where's
Yeah,
the
we
room
put
for
Endgame
cut?
pretty low on our ranking list, and
Wow,
honestly, I
ooh.
wouldn't mind putting it
It
lower.
just doesn't hold up by itself. Is the problem?
I rewatched it like
You
a few
can't just
days
watch
ago.
Endgame
Thought
by
it was a
itself.
7 out of
It
10.
doesn't, but I don't fault that. I understand faulting it. I don't fault that.
We gave it the reason we still gave it a decent score is because it has like the high notes it hits. It's clearly earned because it's been
There's-
like 10 years.
There's definitely
Um,
some like poggers moments for sure, but like at the
yeah,
same
all the
time,
time travel is bullshit.
Okay. These two trailers are fantastic. Both are well edited. Both have great trailer music. Hawkeye
A really
especially
good
makes
trailer.
me everything just makes me hyped. Especially Hawkeye because it's a Christmas like kind of die-hard-ish, you know.
that'll be cool.
And it's just molto bene.
Kind
We'll
of Die
probably make
Hard-ish
a custom
makes
4K.
me more interested than the words Die Hard. So that's good. But that's only because the latest one was kind of shit.
All
So,
right. Speaking of
think-
Die Hard, we're gonna relate this to Die
Bruce
Hard with a
Willis.
Vengeance, which kind of reminds
The
me.
best one.
See, Die Hard with well, the Hawkeye kind of reminds me of Die Hard with Vengeance because it's
That's
in New York
awesome.
and big. But Die Hard with a Vengeance stars Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson, who also star in this week's film Unbreakable.
Yay.
Unstoppable.
Yeah.
Unmovable.
Unstoppable, directed by Tony Scott, starring Denzel Washington and Chris Pine.
All right, so I'm gonna just put this out there. So Cody and I watched all three together, and we thought one of them would be shit. Like we saw Unbreakable, like that was pretty solid, and we thought the others would not hold up. Then we saw Split, and then we saw Glass, and we're like, that's a fucking good trilogy right there.
Glass was
It is.
awesome. It's like my
Unbreakable is probably in my top 10, top 5 favorite films ever made. Because it is, oh god, what a fucking picture, man.
that shit holds up really well.
Yeah,
Unbreakable is it's in my like top 3. It's one of my favorite movies ever made.
yeah.
I liked it. I didn't think it was a top 3, but I liked it.
Now that's a movie I also grew up with.
I didn't grow up with this
So I
film,
have
so
that.
that's
Like
good.
I saw that in middle school probably, and I've loved that movie for a long time.
I watched the new 4K restoration on Disney Plus, and it looked pretty good, so that's cool.
It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. Yeah,
Huh, wait, are all
at
three
least
of them
over
on
here in
Disney
Europe.
Plus? Were all three of them on there?
No, because Split and Glass are Universal.
Oh,
I see. Well, starting with Unbreakable, it was interesting seeing most movies I see with Bruce Willis do not have Bruce Willis putting in a large amount of effort. So whenever he does, it's nice to see, and this was one of those movies where
Well,
He showed up
comes
to work.
I don't think he's.
Yeah.
I don't think he is as great as Bruce Willis in Reprisal 2018.
I haven't even
Well, that's
seen
his best
that.
performance.
Break it down for me.
No.
Break it down.
I mean, how many shitty movies does Bruce Willis star in nowadays?
A lot.
He is in The Surrogates, where the best part of the movie is the Breaking Benjamin song they used in the trailer.
He's done.
I liked The
Cosmic
Surrogates.
Sin,
I also saw it in high school, but
Live
Can't
Free
really
or
trust
Die
that.
Hard. A Good Day to Die Hard.
Oh my god! But he was also in Glass, and that was pretty good.
Like Glass.
yeah,
According to
Bruce
only
Willis
us,
is a
And then
great
immediately
actor.
he
He's
went
just
down the
not
hill again.
always trying.
Yeah.
He's good when he shows up.
Unbreakable.
He's good when he shows up.
Fantastic soundtrack by James Newton Howard. Holy shit.
This is also
There-
one of.
there-
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, in supporting the soundtrack, there was this scene, and this is kind of me jumping right to the end of Unbreakable, but that's because I've forgotten half of what happens in Unbreakable. There is a scene at the very end where he does his first superhero moment, and this amazing kind of Superman-esque score starts playing as he's just choking out a guy, and it's the strangest, like, weird conflict of music and, like, the actual scene that I've ever seen. It's clearly intentional. But it like fucking blew my mind because it was so fucking. I don't think I'd ever seen it in a superhero movie where it was like a shot that depressing, but then scored that kind of heroically. It was really cool.
I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of all the the superpowers being like realistic is a strong word, but that's just like this is like edge of human potential stuff where it's like I'm not shooting laser beams out of my eyes. I'm just doing what a theoretically human could do, which I think is really
Yeah, I
neat
could live
to do.
2
Yeah.
times as much, which is possible. You know? But yeah, oh god, what a picture! What a picture!
We could just say that, and
Definitely.
then it's like, all right, moving on.
Very strong.
What else? Is
Yeah,
there
I
to
mean, this
talk
is
about?
so. This is just there's it. It's a very influential kind of genre-defining movie. Not a. It's more of a subdued genre. I didn't like any comic book superhero stuff growing up. What I did like was this. I liked this kind of plain closed regular person approach. I loved the TV show Heroes, so I got really into like this. It really seeing that something could do something with that kind of theme, that kind of idea, in a way I didn't think possible was really cool to me when I was younger. And so that kind of influenced me a lot. Shyamalan in general is a director I actually like a lot.
Yeah.
And he again, my parents loved him, so I kind of grew up when I got old enough watching those movies. So I love his style of filmmaking. I love what he does with stories. I think this is one of his best twists, his best use of twist in films because it's very character driven. It's not like it's a plot twist, but it's not a plot twist. It's a character twist. It's the relationship between them is different, and that execution is very good. The core of this movie is the relationship between Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis, and it's executed phenomenally. And both actors are really at the top of their game in this film.
Yeah.
So it's where every piece just comes together to make a really, really solid movie.
The scene where Elijah falls off the stairs is just, oh god.
Yeah.
It gets me every time.
What's interesting is that for both this and for Glass, I knew the twists to it going into it.
Yeah.
Because I only knew the general, like, oh, this is why. Well, I mean, I guess we can spoil these movies, can't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so, well, I only knew, oh, Sam Jackson turns out to be evil. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's the movie ruined. And then I watched it, I'm like, how can he be evil? What's he doing?
Yeah.
Like, how does the twist fit in? And then and I still managed to be like, oh, shit. And something similar happens in Glass, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah. The only
And so it's good.
If there's
It keeps me on
one
my
thing
toes.
that I don't like, well, I don't hate it, is that at the end there's like title cards, making it look like it's based off a true story. It's like, David Dunn walked out of the store and contacted the police, you know. I don't know.
Telling me this didn't happen?
All movies are real, Ruben. Blair Witch Project, that was real. Marble Hornets, that was real. And Unbreakable was definitely real.
Yeah.
The documentarians just got that good, you know?
They hired Bruce Willis. They put him in Time Machine. It's like, you're gonna play Die Hard, here's a wig.
So,
good job, success.
okay, so on that note, I want to talk about the Night Shyamalan triple cameo that goes through all three movies.
Yeah.
Because Cody and I talked about this a little bit. I didn't really get it in the first movie. Like, I wasn't sure, okay, is he actually suspicious, or is Bruce Willis just, like, thinking he's suspicious? What's going on? Because they don't...
That was
like,
racial profiling.
Yeah. And then in Split, he shows up and you're not sure if it's the same character. And then in Glass, there's a scene where he's just like, hey, I'm the same character in both movies. And then he walks away.
And it's just such a weird interaction because it's just like, even if I did see you that one time 18 years ago, like, am I going to mention it? Probably not. I don't think I would say anything if I like, I think I saw you one time, one day, 18 years ago.
Yeah. I'm a different person now. Actually, I took an anger management class.
I really turned my life around after you, like, stopped me for no real reason in the football stadium that one day.
I'll say,
then Bruce Willis is like, all right, that's it.
The stuff with David Dunn and his son, Joseph, right? I think that's also really well done. I think at the end, he's like shoving the newspaper up to him. I think that's a very strong scene. It's like it always gets me. Like, it always tears me up.
Yeah,
that one was really good. I really like. That's probably my favorite scene in Unbreakable. Either that or the weights.
The only thing I didn't really understand was why he pointed the gun at David. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, like, it just seemed a little bit
Unbreakable 2000.
Unshootable.
Okay, that's true. He should have said that. He should have said, "Hey, I want to know M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable coming out in theaters 2000."
Don't worry, son.
I would have understood.
You could shoot me because of Unbreakable 2000, directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
But if you shoot me, I'm gonna leave forever. I may even split.
We were talking about like. One of my problems with fucking Glass is that it doesn't fit with the naming scheme of the other two. Because the first movie is called Unbreakable.
Have you heard the official trilogy name for this? It's called the East Rail 177 trilogy.
Yeah, I freaking love that. That goes
That's
hard
raw.
as hell.
That's
Wait,
super
how?
cool.
Wait, I don't get
It is.
I don't get
That's
it.
the train that he was on.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, that's kind of cool. But like, so the first movie is called Unbreakable. The superhero's name is the Observer. The second movie
The
is
Overseer.
called
The
Split.
Overseer.
The Overseer.
Like in the Fallout.
The second movie is called Split. The villain's name is the Beast, the Horde. The third movie's name is Glass. The superhero or villain is Glass. You should have called it Shattered, because then it's like Unbreakable, Split, Shattered. It's a logical progression. Glass is just the name of one of the fucking characters. It doesn't make any sense.
It's just a guy.
Glass
It
is
just
more like
bothers
ass.
me more than it should.
But yeah,
And that's why Glass is the worst movie ever made.
scores for Unbreakable, because for me it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 movie
It's
for me.
pretty.
So-
Yeah, I would agree. It's pretty much like a 10. I have no complaints at all.
Yeah.
Give it a 9. I don't have a big connection to
A
it.
9?
but I-
Oh,
you
you
know,
got
I
a
liked
problem. You want to throw hands?
it. We got a problem here, you son of a bitch.
I'll reach down there. And...
I'm gonna sunbay your ass.
That was such a weird. I had to explain to Finch what that was like 2 seconds before the character then explained what that was twice.
All right. So
It's been so long since I was back.
Split 2017. The reason I delayed this podcast is because I literally bought the Split on 4K today, so I could watch it today.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've seen Unbreakable a lot. I've seen Split a few times, and it's been a couple years since I watched Glass. But I did not watch. I did not get a chance to watch them for this. Unbreakable, the 4K version, like comes out here in a couple weeks, so I'm kind of saving my watching for that. So I didn't get to. So I'm still very familiar with all the movies, but I didn't get to watch them right before this.
God damn
This
you,
was the
Taylor!
first
Do
time
your
I saw
assignments
Split.
for once.
Split was my least favorite of the three. I didn't like the first time I watched it. I liked it more this time because I started to understand what he was going for. But I did not like it very much the first time.
Split.
James
I guess you
McAvoy
could
also
say my
comes.
opinion was divided.
James McAvoy comes into work harder than anyone else in these three movies. Also, like free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he comes into work
Um,
like 20 different times for different characters.
Split.
You can tell just through like facial expressions and how he carries himself. It's like, oh, he's a different character now. Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's really cool.
One of the best moments in Split is when James McAvoy switches from his impression of Barry to the actual Dennis. And when, like, because all he does is he's like, oh, for the people just listening, it's just this facial change, which, like, it was, I don't know, there was something about it. It was so subtle that, but it makes you, like, lean in to look at his face, and so you feel smart for recognizing the visual cues. So that was a really good thing.
I think there's
That's
also like very tense scenes in Split, especially the opening when they're in the car.
Yeah.
I don't like the opening.
Also,
The opening
it's
Really?
kind of weird because it's just like nobody notices someone else has just gotten into the vehicle for like 2 minutes,
All right, that's true.
and then
Like-
like a reaction is to just like look over and not be like, "What the shit? Who the hell are you? Why are you in this car?" And like start.
she's-
They're just
she-
like,
she's reaching for the door handle, and she's making it so slow. I'm like, bro, it is not. You do not have to like slowly try and get out of a car. You can hurry.
his vision is based on movement, and she's like, maybe if I go slow, he can't see me.
Here's here's a fun fact about Split. Shyamalan didn't write this script in 2016, 2015. No, he wrote this way before. He just waited a very long time
Yeah.
and then made Split in 2017.
It was
So-
waiting for James McAvoy.
This movie is.
I don't think it works
M.
if you
Night,
don't have
M.
someone.
Night Shyamalan hand grew his own James McAvoy. He has a
Cultivated him in
whole
his little
James
garden.
McAvoy farm.
Well, he actually
James
grew
McAvoy
like
is
10 of
terrible.
them because they were actually each played by different James McAvoys.
Yeah, he has
Not the
he has
same one.
23 James McAvoys in his backyard.
That's awesome.
And he grew
Clever
them
camera
to
work.
be.
The Rise of
See,
Skywalker. He's actually played by James McAvoy,
The
just
reason-
a really poor clone.
The reason
and that's
why,
the thing. He grew those clones to be those characters. They
The-
weren't even
And
playing
one of
roles.
those
The
clones,
reason why
Snoke.
M. Night Shyamalan can finance his film is because Fox sometimes uses James McAvoy for those X-Men films.
We figured it all out.
Yeah, he likes
That's
it
it.
out.
So M. Night
James
Shyamalan is at the
McAvoy
phone.
for the
Okay,
X-Men films.
so for this scene, you want more with hair or without hair? All right, I'll send you one without hair.
You know the
Types it
crazy
up into
thing?
his computer, pops a new clone out.
I got one
YouTube.
with
James-
80s hair. He's gonna be a little bit more expensive though, because the hair requires a lot of effort.
But in that case,
James McAvoy is a Hollywood psyop.
But he's not. In that case, he's not actually playing multiple different characters. You've got just multiple different James McAvoys coming in, and so instead of having one actor change like character expressions, they do this complicated CG where they
they just
superimpose both
rotoscope
James
those faces
McAvoys
over
into the
each other.
shot, and they have to do a fade between the James McAvoys to make
Incredible.
it seem natural.
That's so strong.
That's why flashes in glass exist, because they're like, no, we got to get this down on a tighter budget. We're just gonna have a flash of white and then put a different James McAvoy in. We fucking got it. We figured it out.
That's it.
What else is there to say about Split?
I liked it even knowing the surprise, which was something, because I didn't know anything. The only one I didn't know anything about going into was Glass, but I was watching Split. I'm like, okay, I know the twist is that the Beast is real. I don't know if that really counts as much of a twist, because it's just like that's the question of the movie:
I think the
is it real or not?
The twist was it being in the Unbreakable universe.
Yeah, so it's at the very the last like 2 seconds, and
That
even
is a
knowing
twist.
that, it's like it was still pretty cool. I was like, yeah, it
So-
didn't bother
Yeah,
me
when the
knowing it was
fucking
all-
music starts playing from Unbreakable.
yeah.
So my little thing about this movie is my speech is it also it can't. It's funny to talk about these movies as a trilogy. They are just a really kind of interesting what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, odd, not normal, not usual trilogy to begin with, but it's also the way this movie is really viewed, for me at least, is as a Shyamalan movie and where it falls in his filmography. So this came at a time where, you know, his career had really taken a hit. He did some bad things for a few years. Then he came back with The Visit, which was his first somewhat well-received movie in a pretty long time. And The Visit was, in my opinion, like, okay, it's a 6.5 out of 10, maybe. It's you know,
like to clean the oven, dear?
I like the movie. It's Shyamalan saying, okay, I'm coming back and I'm going to make stuff you like seeing again. It was a good step forward. And Split is really kind of his return, in my opinion. It's his return to making the kind of movies that he used to. It is while Unbreakable is, in my opinion, a masterpiece.
It feels like a return
Split-
because it's an old script
Split-
of his.
And that's true. But so while Unbreakable is like a masterpiece for me, Split is just a really solid thriller.
Boom, Split right in the middle.
It knows what it wants to do. It executes it well. It's got good acting. It's got a good cast. The script is not overly complicated. It's just a really solid, well done, well made thriller, in my opinion. And because of that, it does ironically kind of rank on the bottom if I'm ranking all three films. I love the movie. I like the movie quite a bit. I think that says that it's not saying anything negative by putting it on the bottom, but the other two just do such kind of wild, special things that they do place higher for me.
Yeah, Split. I have issues with Split. I don't like how the two other women in the movie have significant roles at the start and then eventually are kind of fridged near the end. I don't like. I get it, but I don't like it.
It happened.
The therapist I thought was cool. I thought she was really interesting, but again, you know, that only goes so far, and the plots are a little bit kind of split, and then, you know, they come together and it doesn't it doesn't necessarily gel as well as I would have liked. The actual Beast itself,
Cool.
sparing Anya Taylor, he was cool as hell. Sparing Anya Taylor-Joy because she was broken, and then having those flashbacks to everything. I get what they were going for. When I first watched the movie, I was depressed because at the end of the movie, they're like, "Oh, your uncle's gonna pick you up." And I was like, "Oh shit, well, I guess it's back to that." But then I realized, oh, maybe she reports him, and then in class they confirm, and I felt a lot better about it. Which is kind of part of why I liked Split the second time around, because I saw those nuances. But there's a little bits of Split that I just feel are a bit clunkier than Unbreakable and even Glass. Which is weird because Glass should be everyone says Glass is the clunkiest, but I don't see it.
I just love that scene where the Beast is just bending those bars and just like that the blood is coming through his teeth. I think
And
it's
that goes-
such a cool detail, and there's like his pupils are like very black.
That's called sicko mode.
Yeah, that's sicko mode, and that
Wow.
calls back to us. Like, I like how like the powers, like it's just like peak of what the human body could potentially do. It's like, yeah, a human could bend bars, work really do it. You know, you could run. Even, I mean, people can even take shotgun shells to the chest and be okay. It happens. So it's like that shit was all really cool. I thought that was wrong.
Yeah.
He's literally built different.
He's actually
He
just
is
built different.
Yeah.
What
Which
do you
is
think-
probably a good transition to Glass, really.
Who
Because
is in
that's
fact
exactly the
also
premise.
built different.
Scores, goddammit.
He's built very
Oh.
Not
different.
moving on until we've gotten scores.
Oh,
Okay.
8 out of 10 for me. Solid movie.
7.
Yeah, I
or
also
8
said
out of
about an
10.
8. 8 for me
I'll
as
give it a
well.
7.
Yeah.
Maybe
Alright, now
7, 6.5. Yeah, the 7. Because
What?
of James McAvoy, I think he fucking brought it up.
All right. Who is the best personality?
Oh, Jade.
I liked Hedwig until
Until he said he liked Kanye.
until he
no,
said
no.
until he stopped liking Kanye and started liking Drake in the next movie, and I'm like, I want you dead. I want you gone. Now.
Hedwig is
You're
a
trash.
piece of shit. We hate Hedwig so much.
Hedwig's garbage.
Hedwig is the kind of little shit. They're like, oh, he's a kid. No, fuck you. Kick the Hedwig.
He's the little kid that if it was a video game and it's like, do you want to take moral like damage to punch this child in the face? I'd be like,
I will forever thank M. Night Shyamalan for putting that dance sequence in there, though. That was very
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, true.
he should have been dancing to Kanye. The movie would have been a
I'll
9
say
out of 10
this.
if he was dancing to Kanye, but he
I'll
wasn't.
say this. Dennis started out as the grossest personality, and by the end, it felt like he had done a character. Like, it felt like one of the personalities had done, like, almost a character, maybe not redemption, but he had improved as a person
Yeah,
by the end
by,
of
like,
Glass. So I
Time
really
of
liked
Glass.
Dennis.
Dennis is like, nah, this was a mistake. I don't, this was.
Yeah, Dennis and Patricia are the strongest written, but I
Yeah.
think I like Jade the most because I think it was cool seeing James McAvoy play a Valley Girl. I thought that was really fun.
That was strong.
All right, so Glass.
Awesome. Kino. Raw. 10
yeah,
out of
I
10.
think
Everyone that doesn't like it is filtered and wrong.
And
West
and the
Dillon
thing is, no one
cooked.
does. We're the only ones. How do we get a podcast with 4 people who liked Glass? I'm
Simply
the only
smarter
one who liked Steel in the
We're
podcast.
simply
we did.
built different.
I
You're
mean,
just built different.
I wasn't there.
All right, so
Yeah.
Glass. James Newton Howard sadly didn't do this film. It was scored once again by Wes Dillon Thornton, who did Split. And I think Wes Dillon Thornton did a great job on Glass. I think he did a great
Yep.
job with the score. The opening song called Psychics is really good. And the ending called Origin Story is also really good.
That was so raw.
Yeah.
And then it scrolls
'cause you
past and the
don't-
name is Origin Story. I'm like,
And I didn't understand that until the very end. Like, this is another one of those things. I knew the twist, which was like, oh, there's this secret society, and I think some of this gets leaked at the end. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm sure someone records it or something like this. What I didn't know is that it was entirely like Glass's master plan. That he
Yeah.
had set it all up in advance. I was like, shit. Oh, that's so cool. And that's why he said it's origin stories he died. That was so cool.
my emotions, like, towards the end, it was, like, super high, and then it got really low at the one part, and I was like, oh, maybe I don't like this. And then I'm like, well, there is one thing they could do to redeem it, and then it happened, and then I'm like, nope, it's way cool. The movie's awesome. I
I
changed my
like
mind.
the fact that this is a kind of like crossover. Like, this shit actually happened. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they got
Yeah.
the characters from both films. Put
It's
them
such
together
a-
in a mix. Put the themes in the mix, in a bag, you know. Put it in the
It's
blender and
such-
do something great. And add Sarah
Yeah.
Paulson to the mix, which Sarah Paulson is fucking amazing in this film.
It's
It's
so
always good.
wild. It's so wild that this movie exists. That Unbreakable
Yeah.
was made into a trilogy like 20 years later. It's
And-
and I didn't get
and
to
it's
talk about
good.
this, but God, yeah, and it's good. I loved God when I was in the theater. Again, my mom got me into Shyamalan movies. Her favorite movie is The Sixth Sense, so we always tend to see his movies together, and we both loved them. And so we saw Glass in the theater together. And when that like that's one of my favorite theater moments of all time, honestly. When you see David Dunn at the very end of Split. I'm sorry, I said Glass. We saw Split together. When you see David Dunn at the very end of Split, and we both just turn to each other and we're like, what the hell is this? This, like, I was freaking out. It was such a cool moment. And so for them to Glass come out several years later, and it's great.
I did
So
this
cool.
film as a double feature with How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Nice.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. But yeah, God, what a picture.
There's what's cool about Glass is that like people always say, oh, what if you did a movie like people talk about Joker, it's like, oh, and now if you did a Batman movie and then you have him cross over, and it's like, what we obviously the MCU is the big crossover thing everyone talks about, and kind of to a similar extent Godzilla versus King Kong, but there aren't many films, and this was before that, there aren't many films that do a hero story that's 100% the hero story, not connected to the villain at all. A villain story that's 100% their story, and then finally they become enemies in the next one. That is not something that happens.
You don't
much.
see that.
It's like you don't see like I guess if they make fucking Tom Hardy's Venom meet Spider-Man, then that kind of would be a similar situation. But that's not like
but you don't
this
have
is
Tom
a
Hardy
unique
doing
franchise.
like dances like this.
Yeah.
Well, he had him eating lobster. That was close. In a tank. That's kind of close.
He's absolutely unhinged in that.
And he doesn't listen to Kanye or Drake, which is a huge advantage.
No, but the symbiote probably does. The
Symbiote's favorite album is Graduation by Kanye, for sure.
I am
100%.
listening to Donda.
I would love to hear Venom's rating of Donda. I would love to talk to Venom about Donda.
Eddie, buy me God is King.
This album is very good, but not
Very
as good as Peppa Pig's Adventures.
Big into
Eddie,
Jail Part 1.
vinyl.
Feel like the feature on Jail Part 2 doesn't quite hold up.
Okay,
yeah,
so anyway, Glass.
I like just what Sarah Paulson was doing in this film, because these films ask
Gaslighting.
the question, like
He gaslight
is
girl
this
boss.
the human body,
Literally, actually.
or are these superpowers? And at the end of the films, they do figure out that they're kind of superpowers, and then Sarah Paulson steps back and is like, "No, you're fucking wrong. These are old animal cages. This is here's a fucking MRI scan." And
so
here's my theory.
Gaslighting the audience too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Sarah Paulson probably has superpowers too. She can convince people really well.
when she started screaming, I thought she was gonna fucking break the glass like a Black Canary
Yeah,
moment.
that's what I thought as well. I thought that's what that shot was for.
But the thing is, okay, so there were moments where Cody and I were like, oh shit, maybe we don't like this movie. And there were like precisely two. The first one was when Sarah Paulson was like justifying all the powers in a real world context. I was like, bullshit.
Yeah.
We know that's not true. You're not going to go back in the face of the other two movies you made.
Because some of the examples don't make any sense. Just like people go to the gym and lift 300 pounds at a time. It's like, yeah, after months or years or whatever of physical conditioning to do that. I don't just pick it up and do it one day.
Yeah,
it's like,
Bruce Willis is not that shit. That could.
So it's like
David Dunn is like a regular guy, who
Right,
works
right,
at
and it's-
regular shit, and is like, okay, maybe this makes sense.
and it winds up being
Yeah.
intentional, which is fine.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like-
and so
When you're watching it and you don't, like, I didn't know already that she was actually just gaslighting. I'm like, come on, you can't just give me this shit after showing me for 2 movies no superpowers are real. You can't just come into the third. But then again, it was all.
yeah,
that was the point.
but then it was gaslighting, and so that kind of worked for it. And then the second was when, and this is the one problem I actually have with the movie. I don't think David should have done, or if he did, it shouldn't have gone out like that. That was a
I
really
agree with that as well.
I agree.
Yeah.
That is also my one real complaint of the movie is I wish David had not have died.
But I do think that the scene where his son runs up to him after he's died, I think that is a powerful scene.
I think it.
It's powerful, it's
I
just
think
bad.
it works in the movie. I think it's powerful.
Yeah.
I
But
even
it's just the death
like
just
the way that he died. I think
It just
that was
sucks.
appropriate. It just sucks.
It doesn't make me feel good inside
It
at
doesn't
all.
make me feel good, and it sucks. That's it.
Yeah.
Also,
Uh,
when you say it, like, I will say it's better shot than it sounds on paper. Because on paper, someone's like, "Oh, he dies in a puddle." I'm like, "What do you mean he dies in a puddle?"
Yeah,
And-
so-
he kind of-
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then it's like it's much more. There's more going
Yeah.
on to it than
Yeah,
that.
there's more
Yeah.
going.
It's like, okay, yeah, all
there's
right.
there's like two things. One thing I don't really like about Glass, and that's whenever the Beast and David Dunn are fighting, or the Horde, they have these weird shots where the camera is attached to their bodies. I do not like
love
these
those.
shots. No, I do
That's
not
just
like
so
them.
cool.
I fucking hate these
But he
shots.
swings into the car.
I
So
love
funny.
those shots. Those
I was
shots are cool.
absolutely like pogging out when those were happening. I was like, yo, yeah. I thought the action and stuff was also like
I don't-
really strong for some
Yeah,
reason.
Yeah.
I do think the action is good. Just those shots just took me out. Probably because they
What's
just look very different. Maybe
The
frames or the lens.
There was a couple of times where characters would do something and we would be like, why are you doing that? I'd be like, oh, for the shot. And then I really liked it almost for the twist at the end. It's like, no, actually, yeah, for the shot. Like,
Yeah,
why do you have to bust down the door for the shot? Of course, it's like, oh, it's a cool character thing in the moment of him pushing himself, right? And then it's like, no, he needed to get that on camera, which I think is raw. And then there's the part where it's like the beast is gonna ask you to roll forward, and it's like, why? Well, for the shot, of course. It's like, no, it's actually for the shot. That's really cool.
Yeah, we both got like there were different points. I was like at the very start of the movie. I was like, why did they go through that window for that scene or something like that? And Cody was like, for the shot, man, come on. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. And then later in the movie, when it's like roll forward, Cody was like, what are they doing? I'm like, oh my god, for the shot, you idiot!
Yeah. And then it's literally actually for the shot.
Elijah said his priorities straight. He's like, well, I'm going down the basement to make some photos. Might as well just pick up my cool ass fucking outfit.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not going out without the drip.
Drip in this movie.
Free, easy.
And what's cool about this movie is that like for half of the movie, we're like, why the fuck is this movie called Glass? Like he's barely in it. He's comatose the whole time. What's he doing? And then the second half, Sam Jackson turns around. And it's like, this is why we made the movie called Glass. And it fucking slaps.
And it's cool because it's like at the very end, it's like, oh, he's hero is the wrong word, but it's like, yeah, he is the most important player. He is the focal point of this one. Everything in this movie was his thing. It's like that's super cool.
I did,
although
the twist about the train was raw. I didn't see that coming at all. I thought that was
neither did Glass. Neither did Mr. Glass.
Yeah, that was so neat. That was really.
I was
really
like, oh
cool.
shit! I've created two superhumans. Holy shit!
One thing
he's losing his shit right there. He's like, I did it. I'm the coolest. I'm the best.
But one thing that bothers me is that there is a retcon in this movie. In Unbreakable, Glass was like, okay,
literally unwatchable. Holy shit! The fucking
not
SJW
a
using
pothole,
Kathleen
but
Kennedy
it's like
ruined this.
But it's like Glass is like, look, I've been born with shitty bones, and I want to know if there's someone on the other end of that spectrum. That was the logic in Unbreakable. In Glass, she's like, but you have a superpower. It's your mind. And he's like, yes, I am super smart. Does he actually think he's got powers, or is he just being like egotistical?
He's gaslit himself into thinking he's a super genius, which is as good as being a super genius.
He reversed Sarah Paulson.
It's really strong.
Because Sarah Paulson is a dumbass,
yeah.
In this movie.
Here's the thing. So I said like Sarah Paulson, like maybe has like superpowers that she could convince people, and I'm like she couldn't convince Glass because his mind was too strong. She couldn't really convince the Horde because like there's multiple fucking like minds in there, so like it's very hard to convince us. But David is just like a regular schmo besides his like strongness, his Popeye strongness, and I'm like that could have convinced him until Elijah was like, "You could knock this fucking door down. You could do it.
It'll be raw.
Bro,
come on."
He was just like, dude, just fuck off. Just break the door. It's fine. One of the best things. I will say one of the best moments in this movie for me was Patricia kind of going back and forth on it, like because she was one of the people I think the most affected by Sarah Paulson's like thing, and then at the very end she's like, never tell them I doubt it. And that was like her last words. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
I like too that like a lot of times I feel like in movies whenever characters have like a second level, like this was my actual plan, and like it seems too obvious. There's certain things that they have other people do that don't. It's like, well, that doesn't really make any sense, and that kind of gives you the idea that there's something more going on. But it's everything that Glass is part of Glass's plan all just seems like that makes sense. Like, he forced Bruce Willis out because he wants to make him part of his plan. He needs to force him out of the door.
It's not an Ocean's 12 situation where it's like, oh, you got to do this, and then we did this.
And it'll all come back later.
We did
and it's
this under your nose, and then we did that on your nose.
Right.
But we did
and then it's
that
like,
under your nose.
And then it's like
What
when
do you
it's like
think?
he's like, we gotta go through the basement. It's like, okay, that makes sense. It's probably less guarded or shit or whatever, right? Or it's like, yeah, we need to force Bruce Willis to break down the door. It's like, well, I need you out for the plan. I gotta activate your power. It all ties into like his surface level plan so that you don't suspect that there's more going on
Yeah.
to it, which is really cool.
Literal
Um,
big brain moment. Get it
What do you think
on
about like
sound
the
mindset.
ending, Taylor?
The ending. Which exact part of the ending are we talking about?
Well, then the reveal, and then also and also the surviving three characters. Because we have we have Bruce Willis's son, we have Sam Jackson's mum, and then we have Anya Taylor-Joy as like the final three who make it. And I think they all do pretty well in this movie. I think they're all
Yeah.
really important to it.
Also,
I agree. I love Samuel L. Jackson's character arc. I really enjoy. I mean, it's great to see him. I mean, Bruce Willis too. Actually, it's great to see both of them come back 20 years later to fire on all cylinders, just like they did 20 years ago, as actors that are great actors and both consistently take roles for paychecks where they phone it in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great to see them return to these roles and clearly care just as much as they did in the first movie. When they're at a very different place in their own life. So I liked that a lot. I liked the reveal a lot at the end. It really, this is, I think, one of his best twists in that it retroactively, like, you find out that a lot of the flaws in the movie aren't actually flaws. It's the plot.
Yeah.
That's really cool. It's kind of, it's a really, as someone like Shyamalan who is known for, okay, what's the twist going to be? He has to put a twist in the movie. That was a really cool way for him to do something you're expecting him to do, but still subvert your expectations.
yeah,
Of it.
I like that they like set up they're gonna fight at the tower. You know, it's gonna be big third act
Mhm.
where they're fighting at the big tower on the rooftop, and they fight in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is-
Also,
and then-
like the scene where he runs on all fours, I
Yeah.
had seen that GIF. That was the only thing I knew going in was that GIF. The funniest thing I had ever seen in my life. In context, very raw. I thought it was super cool.
The
But I did
second
laugh.
funniest thing. The second funniest thing. The
Oh,
funniest thing.
the funniest thing
was
was when
when
she
a
said
dime-
Among Us.
Was when she said,
When she said
Oh my
Among Us.
God,
Yeah,
kill
we can't leave gods among us, and it's like, oh, you said the thing.
Fuck out.
What do you guys
Freak
think
the fuck
about
out.
like the other twist about the organization? Because like
Yeah.
what it sets up the twist, like it makes me want to write like a spin-off, TV show
I
or like
want-
a movie. You know, like, I want to do.
I want to
something with
watch
this.
it again and see if there's more. Because that, I guess, I don't know if that's really the point. It does kind of feel like it's just like, surprise, there was a secret society. I want to see if rewatching it, I can see like, oh, is there more allusions to that than?
I knew
None at all.
the organization twist. I didn't see a single one. I thought that was kind of. I didn't like the organization bit. Like they
imagine
could have
they
just
made this
paid
film,
off. I don't know.
And it was Sarah Paulson in Organization 13 from Kingdom Hearts. She just
Raw.
steps out for the third act. and steps
I'm a
out in this
Xehanort,
black
too.
leather robe.
I am glad that
Yeah,
they didn't
I'm saying
leave that
that.
as a loose. I'm glad that they didn't leave the organization twist as a loose end. I
Yeah, I
like
agree
it
with that.
as something they wrapped up immediately. I probably wouldn't have liked it if they left that going because it's like, this and Shyamalan knew this. Like, I don't think he
Mhm.
wanted to franchise it. He made these movies because he had ideas for these movies that he thought were good. But it's like this, it needed to end. It needed to be wrapped up here.
That's why where I was saying earlier, where like my emotion for the movie, when I thought that was like that's how it's gonna end, is like, oh, they did, and that was it, and I was like, oh, that actually kind of blows, but then they bring it back with the no surprise, we got you, and it's like, okay, now I really like that.
Gotcha,
actually.
bitch.
Yeah.
I think, and again, I think it's great that Glass exists because it does good things with the characters that it revisits. Because this could easily be, I mean, it should be an unnecessary movie, right? It should be unnecessary. And it's not, because it very successfully carries on, again, not necessarily plot, but the characterization, the character arcs and journeys from Unbreakable
Batman vs.
very
Superman
well.
wished it wasn't this level.
True.
I think,
and I'm one of the rare likers of that movie, but still true.
Well, I
It
don't
felt like
specifically hate BVS.
it felt like
but
there
let's not
were
get into
things set up in. Sorry, what?
that. No, nothing.
Say it. No. I want to hear that.
I
I want
don't
to hear that.
specifically hate BVS, but let's not get into that.
Excuse me.
But no, it's
We're
okay,
gonna
it's
need
okay.
to talk after this one.
We already talked
I showed
about
these-
it.
I showed these guys my list for like all the Marvel movies that Connie and I have been ranking, and they got some. They were putting some of them in the
That
places.
man, it was too damn low.
No, it's. I wanted to put that lower. I voted to put that way lower. I think that movie is terrible.
Ant-Man and the Wasp to go higher, so we settled on a middle ground.
It is a hollow shell of a cinematic experience.
Okay, no, hang on. Before we get into that, we need to bring this back to Glass. I thought
not
Glass
a hollow
was good.
shell of a cinematic experience. Glass was awesome.
I think, but it's weird because we are like the only people who thinks that. I mean, not the only people, but
everyone. I fully
fair
expected
amount.
to not like it.
I know a few who love it.
Yeah,
my
I do
friend
know a lot of
Theo
people that
likes
like
it a lot. He gave
Okay.
it like a 5 out of 5, I think.
A lot of people I know are just like Glass, and I'm just like
People who
went
like
in
Glass are
just
my
ready to
best
watch.
friends.
Glass is
People that don't like Glass are my enemies.
Keep your
It's got
enemies
36
close, but
on Rotten
your
Tomatoes.
friends who like Glass even closer.
What do you mean you don't like Glass? And it's the meme of the punching guy. Yeah.
It's got like, okay, so like the people here, it says shit like, I mean, one of the most baffling blockbusters ever. Oh, fuck off. I mean, like, come on.
Shut up.
Like, in the 21st century, every movie's ending is just another beginning, just as long as the money to be made. That was clearly an ending.
Yeah,
Just
like
because it was
that's
an
the
open
point.
ending doesn't mean it's like franchising. God, people are so cynical. I say that, being pretty cynical, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, you non-Ant-Man and the Wasp enjoyer.
Proud, wear that badge right here.
What the fuck is this? Yeah, all of these reviews are bad. You know what? I've changed my mind. Clearly, we're the only right people.
Yep, we are.
This is
Everybody else is
how
wrong and we are right.
I've defended. I'm fucking doing a journalism course. I defend reviewers and journalists. I am a reviewer and a journalist, and now I'm like fuck journalists because they review Glass
state
bad.
of journalism.
Actually, not like imagine not like Glass.
Reviews media.
But yeah, scores for Glass.
Unironic 10 out of 10.
8.5.
And again, this is the one I haven't seen the most recently, so I'm putting it at an 8.5 right now.
Do your homework.
I know
Taylor.
I like this movie a lot. I know. I'm sorry.
But yeah, for me it's 7 or 8 out of 10. When I watched it in cinemas, I thought it was a 6, but that elevated here at home. Got the full paper.
Okay. Wow.
I just like when the cool shit happens, and Glass is the movie that has the most cool shit happening.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I like
that one.
It's such a different kind of movie for Shyamalan. It feels like he's really letting himself loose here, but he cares that he believes in what he's doing. Like, I'm sorry, I refuse to believe that a single person believes in Avatar: The Last Airbender is a movie. I refuse to believe that a single person cared while making that movie at all. This movie, he cared about. You can say what you want about it. He cared about this movie.
Shyamalan's daughter or son gaslighted him
wanted him
into
to
making
do
this
Avatar,
film, so I blame them. They're gonna catch these hands.
I blame Shyamalan's children for what we got.
Pretty sure he funded a lot of Glass on his own as well, didn't he?
Did he really?
I think for the visit, I think he put a mortgage on his house or something.
Whoa, that's really cool.
Which is how does he need to? He's the guy who made fucking The Sixth Sense. How does he need
but he's
to
also the guy who made The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
That made a profit, surely.
I mean, that's just again, say what you want about Shyamalan's films, but and there are a few exceptions, but for the most part, the man makes what he wants to make, and he's passionate about it, and he believes in it.
He's on the hustle.
The Beach That Makes You Old 2021, directed by him. I think that's a good film, and people who are bitching about it are weenie heads.
Well, are you talking about Old?
Old, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
the movie that I presented.
This is the year of bonkers horror films. We got Old and we got Malignant.
Hold up.
Directors just don't care anymore, dude. They're throwing anything out there, and I love it.
People tend to pre-hate Shyamalan or put him on the list with worst directors ever, but he's far from that.
I mean, he's made some of the best movies of all time. He's literally made movies that are regarded by lots of people as some of the best of all time. Extremely well received. You cannot put that man on a worst director's list of all time.
I think
just because he made a few
Scott has made more worse films than M. Night Shyamalan, and yet you don't see him on the list because he made Blade Runner. But I mean, M. Night Shyamalan made fucking Unbreakable, so why isn't he on good directors list?
Because every movie Shyamalan has made is worth talking about, in my opinion, good or bad. Avatar's maybe debatable. but it's kind of a spectacular failure. So I'd say it's still worth talking about.
But
Ridley
Taylor-
Scott has made plenty of duds
M.
that
Night
just aren't
Shyamalan
worth
never
talking
made
about at all. I
Avatar.
did too.
He made The Last Airbender.
Shut up.
Say, I like Alien Covenant, but the only reason I talk about Alien Covenant because it's an alien movie.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah. Ridley Scott has made a lot. He's a lot less distinctive as a director because he's made more stuff and more of a variety of things, and he's made plenty of duds that just aren't worth talking about. And plenty of like mediocre 5 out of 10 movies that you just like, okay, well that was fine. I'm never going to think about this movie ever
release
again.
probably like The Last Duel might be but I will be watching The
hopeful.
House of Gucci.
I
I'm
don't
just
care
waiting
about
for
that
his
movie.
next fucking alien movie.
I
Why
know.
would you make
No, give me Neil
alien movies
Blomkamp's.
with David, and then not conclude David's story? Do I have to wait for the fucking TV show to see Michael
Yes.
Fassbender?
I'll do
Yeah,
the
unironically,
fingering.
yes.
Yeah.
You
This
hold
is
the
my
flute,
final
I'll
thought.
do the fingering.
This is my final thought of the podcast. In the next 5 years, in the early 2020s, we are getting Neil Blomkamp's Alien 4, and we're getting Tarantino's Star Trek 4. That's happening.
Let's fucking go!
And that's where we end. See you guys the next time. Next week we'll be back with a director's double feature. Orson Welles is at the top of the discussion for the director.
do I
The
have to
voice
actually
of
watch
Unicorn,
Citizen- do I
that's
have-
his
do I
best
actually have to
monologue.
watch Citizen Kane?
We'll be watching Citizen
Wow.
Kane and F for Fake. And we'll
I
be
will
I've
also
never seen
discussing...
Citizen Kane.
I will stop existing as soon as
French.
this one is over.
Will I
Yeah,
watch
we'll miss you,
those
Cody.
movies? Let's find out.
Yeah, well, did
Let's
you
find
say
out.
you would like... whatever. Do your
Let's find
assignment
out.
and don't miss out on these classic films,
Let's
Taylor.
wait. Hold
You
on.
missed out-
Hold on. Okay.
You missed
Well,
out on
so,
The
okay, let's end the
Godfather, and I will
podcast
never
first.
forgive you for that.
This
That's
argument is spiraling to incomprehensibility. So
Yes, it is, yeah.
so
Alright,
we'll end
until
it
next
here.
time, guys.